Hello, and welcome to the Logo 3 podcast, your source for news about the NBA and the WNBA. And I'm your host, Steve Klaus, native Hoosier, and I'll give you all the news without any of the media BS. So come along with me, and we'll see what the topics are for today. Well, two things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the Warriors and the Rockets, and then we'll talk about Caitlin Clark, who was on the championship game broadcast with Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi for the women's Final Four. But also, let's just take a second and pay tribute to Gene Hackman, who tragically passed away not too long ago. What a great actor. And this movie was filmed, this is Hoosiers, this was filmed right here in Knightstown, where I've been living for the last 2.5 years. And that's just going to be in the background today because it just seems fitting. So, well, last night's game was not a very good game if you're a Dubs fan, between the Rockets and the Warriors in San Francisco. Two things. It was not Steph's night, and Houston definitely brought their A game. Ime Udoka definitely has these guys playing really good ball. They're a young squad, but they're hungry, and they're going to be a serious contender in the future, if not this year. It just wasn't Steph's night. You know, they looked tired. The whole team kind of looked tired. And, you know, the team goes as Steph goes most of the time. So it's not really any mystery that they didn't win that game last night. But on the plus side, Brandon, Buddy, Jimmy, and Gary Payton all played pretty well yesterday. So, you know, if the reason Steph wasn't getting any shots is they absolutely smothered him. I mean, he could not get open. He got a couple looks. He went 1 for 10, and that tells you everything you need to know. Brandon Pajimski, Buddy Hield, Jimmy Butler, and Gary Payton all played pretty well. But Steph, no. They smothered him. He just didn't look like his normal self. He looked tired. So, as Steph goes, the Warriors go. And they didn't win last night. So, the Dubs did play a pretty good first quarter. They were up by 6 at the end of the quarter. But after that, the Rockets won every quarter after that. So when the Rockets have Sengun going 19 and 14, 19 points, 14 rebounds, and Dillon Brooks, oh my God, Dillon Brooks goes off for what, 24 points. He shot 77% from the field. He always tries to play a great game against Steph and the Warriors. It just goes back to his days at Memphis. So, and then you had Amen Thompson, who was plus 26 in plus minus. And then you also had Green chipping in 21 points. So the Rockets were definitely on their game last night. So Jimmy Butler, Brandon Pajimski, Buddy Hield, Looney, Gary Payton, they all shot over 50% last night. Butler, Hield, Payton, and Pajimski were all in double figures. JK only added 9. If Jonathan Kuminga isn't giving us anything more than 9 points, again, that's going to be tough. He's kind of the X factor. As he goes, if he has a great game, the Warriors are pretty much going to win. The kicker was Steph Curry going 1 for 10. He played 32 minutes and scored 3 points, and he was a -4 in the plus minus over the course of the game. So there you go. They absolutely smothered him on defense. And again, he looked tired. I think all the Warriors looked a little bit tired last night. So chalk up the L and move on. So now, in other news, in the world of Caitlin Clark, if you guys watched the Final Four broadcast, the final game of the women's NCAA championship, there was also a Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi simulcast. And for a portion of that, they had Caitlin Clark on there. And it was pretty interesting. And Diana Taurasi makes the joke about the reality is coming. You know, she had to get that off her chest right away. You know, Caitlin definitely proved Diana Taurasi wrong, and Diana Taurasi looked like an idiot for saying that last year. So thought it was pretty funny that she got that right off the bat. And Sue Bird thought that was hilarious. She was cracking up. Cece talked a lot about the inexperience that the Fever had last year. Lots of young players, but over the off season, as you guys probably know, they added a lot of veterans, a lot of new talent, and also the big deal, the biggest deal, in my opinion, was Stephanie White. You know, we got rid of Christy Sides, which was a clown show as a coach, but that's a topic for another podcast. But anyway, Stephanie White is a great basketball mind, and Caitlin Clark really likes her a lot, and is really happy to be there and learning as much as she can and picking her brain. The other things that Caitlin talked about, kind of joked about, was how buff she's looking, how she's been in the weight room and getting strong, and she wants to get stronger so she can handle the punishment if she's driving into the lane. She joked about AI, maybe doctoring up her photo that went viral of her at a game and pumped up and showing her biceps looking really big. But she's just been putting in the work. She's hitting the weights, and then she's also working on her mid-range game, and then also her floater. And if she can add that stuff to her game for this season, watch out, WNBA. It's going to be exciting. I think the Fever really have a shot this year. So, Caitlin did stress the fact that with all the new talent, the new vets, and the new coach, it's not a lot of time to try to get everything to gel, but I'm sure they're going to do their best. It was nice to see Caitlin give Paige Bucher her flowers for her national championship win. And she also brought up the fact that if Paige ends up with Dallas after the draft, that she was hoping that maybe Dallas would add the second Fever game to the big arena because there's going to be a lot of interest with Caitlin in the game, and also with everybody's going to want to see Paige. So it'll be interesting to see if Dallas does go ahead and add that second game in. And then lastly, I thought it was kind of interesting that Diana Taurasi was giving Caitlin her flowers and saying how, in the future, she'll be able to say that, wow, I got to play with Caitlin Clark in my last season and in Caitlin's rookie season. So Diana's kind of coming full circle and giving her the praise. I mean, she's a good player. She just was a little bit lacking in her praise last season, but I think going forward, she's seen the light. So it's going to be an interesting season for Caitlin and the Fever. It's going to be a wild ride, so we're going to have a lot of coverage here on the podcast. So until the next time, we'll see you later. Well, I don't think I need to do that again.